Today on Suncoast View. Are you stressed out? We'll find out how our state stacks up with family and finance worries.
A Suncoast author releases her 6th thriller and gets ready for her first movie deal. We'll learn about the Max Ford series.
Our days don't start without coffee. We'll meet a Suncoast entrepreneur who's rewriting the book on beans. All that and more right now on Suncoast View.
Welcome to the show. Great to be back with everybody today.
Yes, it's great to have you back.
Yes.
Always good to have a good midweek fun session, and that's what we have in store today. Always great to have Judy here midweek as well, because that means there is lots of good food in the kitchen. Judy always has a holiday to celebrate.
I do, or I'll make one up.
Exactly. What holiday are we celebrating today?
It is officially grilled cheese month. I mean, come on, who doesn't love a good grilled cheese sandwich, right?
Yes.
I mean, we used to have them as children with tomato soup. Well, we searched the Suncoast and we found you some really awesome grilled cheese sandwiches. And I'm going to teach you how to make the same flavor of frying cheese without having the carbs of the bread.
Oh, I like that idea.
Right.
Judy's going to tell everybody, so I'll just tell you anyway. I am infamous for picking out the insides of everything because I try not to eat the bread, but I don't want to miss out. So it's nice that we have a more classy way to present it. What I do to a sandwich is not so pretty. So, all right, we're looking forward to that. So you miss a day around here and you miss a lot.
I'm telling you, we missed you yesterday and you missed.
I missed out.
We
Tell me
had
about the animals.
Big Cat Habitat was here, and we got to meet 3 amazing animals, actually 4.
And 3 people that were amazing
3 wonderful people,
but
too.
But the little goat, it would be hard. And look at that.
Sloth.
Oh, sloth.
People
He's such
went
a lover.
crazy over Stella, the two-toed sloth. And she held on to Clayton, Kay Rosier's son, the entire time.
Are they bonded? I mean, is he her person?
Not necessarily. Clayton
she
just
was
really
also,
gets along with animals.
We also had Fiona, a fox who had lost a leg, and Big Cat Habitat was helping to rehab her.
Baby
and
goats.
2 twin pygmy goats.
And they're only like a day or 2 old.
They were
tiny.
adorable, and we laughed that had you been here, you would have held them and rocked them.
I'd have been rocking the goats.
But the sloth holds on very tight, but has very sharp talons.
Claws.
So that could get painful. But the baby goats made their first appearance on television. But look at Stella looks upside down.
He does. She turns upside down to look at
She liked you, Linda.
That was
She
Kay.
does.
She reaches over and grabs
that's
her
Kay.
hand.
If you
in the
looked at
middle.
me upside down, you'd like me too.
Yes. This was all as part of their they're having their Jungle Jam musical fundraiser this weekend, Saturday, April 7th. So
and what a great cause, of course, to raise money for the exotic and animals in need, senior animals. I know they're working with, and lots of different
Seniors
things.
need care, whether
Absolutely.
we're animals or people. So I think that's a good thing.
And Kay made a good point that you can see the Big Cat Habitat at night, which is a completely different experience.
Oh, yeah,
if
good
you
point.
Go to their
if you go to the Jungle Jam. All right, well, remember that is coming up on April 7th. And something else that we are remembering today that I know Linda has played a huge part in your life, it is the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. And Linda, it gives me chills when you remind us how much a part of that story you were as a reporter.
Well, I was watching that story, covering that story. When I started in television in Atlanta in 1964, of course, Dr. King's march was going on, and I was assigned to cover his wife. So I went with them to cover Mrs. King. And I was anchoring the news that night when suddenly it came over the wires. In those days, AP and UP wires would ring like crazy if something happened. We ran back there and saw that he'd been shot. So news was very different. I was at Channel 11 in Atlanta. We called the mayor, Mayor Ivan Allen, and told him, and we said, we will meet you and we'll drive behind you while you go and tell Mrs. King. So we waited outside until Mrs. King knew, and then she came out. I put my arms around her and I said, oh, I know he'll be fine. I know he'll be fine. Because he had actually been stabbed once before, but by then he was already gone. So
but you mentioned the night before this occurred, you had been at their house speaking with her.
it was that very same week, and my story was, what do you tell the kids when Daddy's in jail? Because Daddy was in jail, and usually it's like bad people go to jail. So what do you do in this case? And she said, oh, that's not our problem. Our problem is something could happen to him at any time, and we have to do all we can to prepare the children
So
in
she
case something
knew
like
that.
that.
Wow.
They knew the danger he was in. He knew the danger he was in, but he never backed off.
No, it's almost like as a family they committed that his message was going to be bigger than anyone person or safety, and they almost committed as a family.
Exactly. I talked to his father, Dr. Martin Luther King, and I said, would you have chosen, if you could, that he would be the pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church, which his father was, or would you have chosen this life that he lost? And he said, oh, absolutely, I would have chose what he did. That was his destiny.
Well,
that
it
was
meant
more
so much
important.
more,
That
yes.
was so important to so many people. And even though I could have known what pain it would cause, I would have still chosen that for him.
Wow, it's hard to believe it's been 50 years.
Yes.
It's amazing that you were there and to be able to look back in history and see how far we've come and sadly how far we haven't in many ways in these 50 years.
But it was great to see that human beings can really be great. When you walked into the room, you knew he was special. Everybody would sort of be quiet when they walked
It's
in
a
the
good
room.
thing to remember, that
Yes,
is
it
for
is.
sure. All right, well, thank you for sharing. It is time for our first hot topic. How stressed out are we as a state? April is Stress Awareness Month, so here's how freaked out Floridians are about money, work, and families, according to Wallet Hub. We rank 16th worst overall for stress levels nationwide. A big reason? We are 4th highest for our divorce rate. On the positive side, we have the 5th highest level of job security. So who's the most chilled out? And I mean this literally, Minnesota. They're not stressed. They must not hate their weather. The weather was not a factor. But 4th highest divorce rate. It's a little alarming.
I'm surprised where we fall, especially because we are, I mean, I at least think of our area here on the Suncoast, we're such a transient area. People move here. People change their lives sometimes and move down here.
For the better,
I'm
one would
thinking
hope.
Yeah,
if
one
we
would think.
didn't have the 4th highest divorce rank, we might be even sadder, and we might be even more stressed if we
This
stayed
is true.
married to those
Hey,
people
that's-
who were
There is-
making us so
there can
unhappy.
be happiness on the other
You
side.
know, there's
Yes.
certainly something to
We're
say
living
for that.
longer too, so I mean maybe that factors in.
And is that better? I mean, there's the, you know, when you live longer, sometimes you end up with more financial stress because perhaps you weren't, what does the ad
living
say?
longer is better,
Well,
believe me.
no, I agree. But, you know, I think because this was based on family happiness, financial stress, I mean, I worry already about, you know, 30 years of unemployment or whatever that ad tells us that retirement is and things like that. I mean, you do have to be careful with money. So maybe there is a financial stress of our state because we do have an older population. I mean, health issues bring stress.
That
Sure,
would bring
sure.
stress.
And there's, you know, we know we have an older population throughout the state.
Changes in health coverage and everything
Right.
bring more stress, financial obviously, and health concerns. So, but I'm surprised. I'm just surprised where we as a state fall.
Number
I think I
one,
thought,
stressed, Louisiana.
well,
Financial.
financial, sure, and
Financial.
actually, you know, of course, Katrina and rebuilding.
Absolutely.
So that,
Right.
that would make a lot of sense.
Unemployment and financial, very, very high in
Wow.
Louisiana. So, you know, money matters. It affects our stress greatly.
Absolutely.
I think as you get older, I don't worry as much about that.
That's
I
good.
really don't.
That's hopeful. That
That is
makes me,
hopeful.
that makes me hopeful.
Joey and I talk all the time about how we're worried about it.
I'm on that bell curve where now I worry a whole lot, and then
Yeah.
I'm hoping to worry less
yeah,
as I
and
get.
Right.
as you get older, you just don't worry about that as much.
good.
I don't.
I look forward to that,
to
Linda.
know.
You're giving us all hope. So here's something that is very much worrisome. Not having enough to eat or a place to live, certainly a very, very large stressor. And it is reality now for more than a third of college students. A Temple University nationwide study found 36% of college students say they are food and housing insecure. 9% report being homeless. Community college numbers are even higher. Now, experts say college costs are especially hitting the middle class hard. Low-income students may qualify for some aid, but the others are left to fend for themselves financially. I hate to say how much I can see this and believe this. We are in the college process now. We are in the financial aid process. If you don't meet the bottom threshold, which of course completely deserve the aid, you are on your own. But for many people, I mean, books, housing, things you have to go to school.
And student loans, I just saw a woman on TV who was paying off her student loan. Meanwhile, her daughter was starting to college.
I believe it.
So she had that loan to take care of.
It's a
We've got to do
horrific-
something about
Yeah.
It is a horrific situation for
Yes.
these kids.
I went
Our
back
country
to
has to do something about
I
this.
agree. I went back to school later. I went back to school in my late 20s, and I was lucky enough, thankfully, to be able to live with my father while I did it because I was working part-time, going to school full-time, and I can't imagine what I would have done. I wouldn't
Right.
have made enough money. It's almost like it's discouraging people from taking the route of higher education because, you know, how are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to pay for your housing? I don't know what the fix is.
I don't either, but I'm scared for the kids.
There has to be a law change.
36%.
So that there is money for this.
Does that surprise you, that number? Joey and I were astounded. 36% of kids, college kids, are worried about their next meal and where they're going to stay.
That does shock me, because mostly parents were paying for it when I was in school.
And parents got their own problems these days. So
right.
yeah, it's an alarming situation, and one hopefully that can get addressed. So Walmart is making some changes as part of the Me Too movement, but probably not the policy or employment changes that you might predict. They're dumping Cosmo magazine at checkout lines. Customers looking to buy Cosmo now have to find it deeper in the store. Supporters of Walmart's decision say this gets rid of some of the sexually objectifying images from the checkout line that we're bombarded with. Others say this is far from empowering for women. In fact, it sends the message of staying quiet about our sexuality and staying out of sight.
Oh, who cares about Cosmo? Just give people more money that work there. If people made more money who worked at Walmart, they'd have an easier time in college because they could have a part-time job there.
I don't think we need to be hiding Cosmo at this point in our world. This is like an 80s drama that came back. I had to hide it from my mother in the 80s, but I don't think we have to hide it anymore. I specifically looked at it yesterday because I was in a supermarket where it was right there in the checkout line. And I'm staring at it and I'm thinking, what is the big deal about this? At this point in life?
Exactly. When I was a kid, I remember there were certain magazines when we go to the grocery, or like a tobacco store, really, up on the top level that they had things in front of, and those were the adult themed. Cosmo has the same things on every magazine cover: how to lose weight, how to have a better sex life, and how to tone and firm.
So you feel sexy and you look like the girl on the cover. The girl on the cover has clothes on. She also has breasts and hips, but so does every other woman.
They may not be hers, though.
They're probably not.
Cosmo made an effort, though, to change their magazine covers? I know that a lot of the magazines did. I think hiding it is just a Band-Aid. I think that's silly.
Maybe Cosmo pays to get it hidden. That way everybody wants to look for it.
This is true.
And we're talking about it. Everybody's talking about it.
You always come up with that alternative thought. That is interesting. Well, I certainly don't think Cosmo is the problem behind the Me Too movement.
I don't either at all.
If that's firing up the men need to get themselves under control. I mean, seriously. So anyone with kids knows that crafting with glitter is absolutely pure torture, and now it's inescapable in other parts of the day. Edible glitter is becoming more popular. Chef Judy, don't you dare bring this stuff out. People are taking it far too seriously. Dessert, breakfast, pizza, it is showing up everywhere. So the FDA is actually warning us against eating non-toxic glitter as opposed to eating actual edible glitter, in case you wanted a magical unicorn pizza.
I wonder how it's digested. Oh my goodness.
It's got to come out the way it goes in.
Remember though, what my mom used to, when we do holiday Christmas cookies, there was that shimmery powder that you dusting. That's different. I think if you're eating glitter, it should be by accident. Like it gets everywhere. You do not want to purposely put it in your food.
If you want to look this up online, we weren't able to show you the picture. There is a recipe for a cake full of edible glitter. So when you open a card and it dumps all over and it's supposed to be funny? This is a cake where you cut it open, the edible glitter sprays all over.
Oh, the person who owns the house is not going to be happy.
Seriously.
But it is definitely edible. It's not, you can't just buy the regular glitter from Michael's and start putting it in your mashed potatoes.
They sell edible glitter in the same aisle they sell all the cake decorating. If you are so inclined, and please don't bring it here ever. All right, we're going to check out our 24-hour happy hour forecast, and when we come back, we'll meet a Suncoast author who's working on a movie deal.
Good afternoon, I'm Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with your first alert weather forecast for this evening. We're looking for increasing clouds due to a cold front approaching. You can see that quite clearly slicing through the panhandle earlier today, and then the prefrontal trough actually out ahead of the cooler air that'll move in. It's not really that cold behind it. You can see that first line of showers. That's that little trough I mentioned out ahead of the actual cold front, which is still back in the panhandle. That rainfall is thinning out as expected as it approaches the coast, so our rain chances aren't all that great for this evening. There'll be a few around, but don't count on a lot of concentrated rainfall for a long duration. A brief shower not out of the question. That'll be later on tonight, say after 8, 9 o'clock, and then a live sweep of the radar showing generally fair skies here. It's 79, the dew point 67, and the west wind at 10, the pressure 2999. That is sliding down a little bit as that front approaches, and the forecast is calling for slightly cooler temperatures overnight, but nothing we can't handle. More in the forecast at 5.
A Suncoast author may soon see her work on the big screen. Writer Sally Fernandez is releasing her 6th political thriller novel, and at the same time she's finalizing a movie deal for her 5th book, and she wants it to be shot right here in Sarasota. So welcome, Sally.
Thank you, thank you.
Let's start with the big headline. You wrote a book that Hollywood producers are interested in. Wow. Tell us the story.
I pinch myself.
I know.
Like,
Tell us about Climatized.
Climatized. It was the first novel in a new series called the Max Ford Thrillers. And Max Ford is a tough protagonist, woman detective. And so Climatized, I've taken the simple topic of global warming.
Oh,
Not
simple.
controversial, no big deal. Okay, so you took a controversial topic and then turned it into a thriller. How did you do that and why?
All of my books, I tend to take, it's a fictional plot, fast-paced, murder, mystery, but takes one political element that gets people to kind of think about what's going on.
Okay,
And,
now why did you decide to use kind of those political jumping points in your genre?
I'm a political junkie.
Really?
Okay, I love it.
And that's what actually got me started writing 10 years ago.
Oh.
So
So it's kind of a way to blend maybe a little fact with a lot of
Exactly.
fiction?
a lot of fact with a lot of
A
fiction.
lot of fact with a lot of fiction,
So
okay.
there's a lot of research that goes into it, but my readers have said it's a fun read, but at the same time they come away with, what if? Is this possible? Is it plausible?
Okay, now
But-
how does the
yeah.
movie come into this? How did a producer get interested in Climatized?
This is amazing. Just to kind of backtrack 10 years ago very quickly, I wrote a book on a fluke. My husband challenged me. I think I was driving him crazy, ranting about the politics. So I wrote it, ended up with a novel. I self-published, and then 4 months later, David Dunham of the Dunham Group got a hand on my manuscript and said, I want to publish this.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So, fast forward, he's been my publisher through 6 books, and he said, this is a long shot, but let me give the book to just a friend in Hollywood. So he gave it to Noam Dromi, who is one of the screenwriters and producers for Dolphin Tale.
Oh, that's a good friend to have.
Oh.
And and Blindside and so forth and so on.
Oh, wow.
Well, he loved Max Ford, and he sees her kind of the next Jason Bourne.
Wow.
So they're doing a 3-part film. He gave it to his friend, who also has a long history in film, but is the chief marketing officer for the Grammys at the Recording
Wow.
Academy. So, like I said, you know, life imitates fiction. In this case, fiction is imitating life. It's going to be amazing.
And
And
all
you-
from self-publishing. That's
Right, which is a
wonderful.
great story. And you have mentioned that having the Suncoast be part of this movie production is very important to you. Tell us
It
about
is.
that.
Well, in Climatized, there are a couple of scenes that take place in Patrick's and the Sarasota Memorial Hospital.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, we have Chief Bernadette DePino is in the story.
Oh, good.
Sully is in the story. So it was very important to do on location. And of course, when we're running through the Piazza Siena, we have to be there too. That's important.
Okay, good. So we have hopes that
So-
we'll see some movie production
Exactly.
here in Sarasota.
Well, we have a big meeting coming. We have Noam Dromi coming, Evan Green coming.
Coming here?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
So they're coming on Friday, and I'll explain why later. But they're coming, and we're having a big meeting, and they're very intent on filming as much as possible of this 3-film project, Max Ford, in Sarasota.
That is
Oh,
wonderful.
wow.
All right, well, the project is obviously continuing on, so you have a 6th novel.
Yes.
Tell us about Beekeeper's Secret.
Again, I try to take these small subjects, so now I have alternative medicine going up against Big Pharma and the FDA.
Well, alrighty. And another, you know, detective murder,
Exactly.
spies, the whole deal?
Exactly. And
Okay.
it's been really, really fun. And like with Climatized, I actually wrote about real characters and incorporated them, and they're NASA veterans from the Apollo space mission. I got in touch with them afterwards, and they fact-checked it for me.
Oh,
Good. I was
On the
going to ask about
Beekeeper-
your
yeah.
research.
So on the Beekeeper, I went to the president of the American Beekeeping Federation and asked him to fact-check, and he
oh,
did.
you don't play small time.
Yes.
Well, that's wonderful.
Well, I haven't quite gone to the president and asked him to fact-check yet.
I don't know whether he would want to, actually. And you mentioned that you have been a self-publisher, but your editor is also rather close to you.
Yes, he is. My husband, of 40 years, is my editor. And if I can, I'd like to give a shout out. The reason my Hollywood team is coming is we're celebrating his 90th birthday this weekend.
Well, what a perfect
So-
reason to get them here. And we're all
Yes.
excited about it too, because once Hollywood sees Suncoast, we are in the big screen.
Yes, we'll see Patrick.
Oh, I just want to read your book. That sounds so good.
Yeah, this is right up Linda's alley. We're going to have a lot of
Can I
fun.
include you in my next murder mystery?
Oh, yes.
I hope we're not the.
Right. Joey, you better be nice.
Oh, I'll be the killer. That's okay.
All right, well, the book launch is coming up on Thursday, and where else but Patrick's 1481. It's Thursday, April 5th, and you can, of course, find more information on Sally's website. The newest book, The Beekeeper's Secret, being released, and we'll keep our eyes open for Climatize on the big screen. Coming up next, a preview of Funny Girl from Players Center.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
I was always worried and scared. Mom was in pain. She wasn't going to get any better, and all the trips to the ER were painful for all of us. Then we called Tidewell Hospice, and everything changed. Now she has care in our home when she needs it, surrounded by family. We know we don't have much time left with Mom, but we decided to make the best out of that time. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
I'm Deshauna Barber. In 2016, I was proud to win the title of Miss USA. What makes me just as proud is my service in the U.S. military. In the service, a soldier gains skills and learns values like discipline and leadership. That makes them an asset to any business that hires them. If you're an employer, on behalf of Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, remember to hire smart and bet on a vet. Visit saluteheroes.org or call this number to learn more.
All right, crew, let's get started. Sure.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
The musical Funny Girl is best known for launching a young actress to superstardom more than 50 years ago. That actress, you may have heard of her, Barbra Streisand. And now the musical is being performed at the Players Center. Actress Vera Samuels plays Fanny Brice, and artistic director Jeffrey Kinn is here to talk about the iconic role and the amazing show. What a
Yeah.
great musical.
It is a great musical.
Funny Girl's one of the classics.
It's why we chose it to end out this season.
Yes.
Just because of what it says and the challenges that it brings up. And there are many challenges.
So it follows the life of Fanny Brice. So tell me a little bit about Fanny's life for people that haven't seen the show.
Fanny Brice was a young woman who she started off doing burlesque, and then she was Ziegfeld actually discovered her, and she started in the Follies, and that kind of propelled her stardom actually into the 10s, 20s, and then later the 30s when she started getting into more radio shows.
And the show follows her life over the span of many years, romances.
Yes, I wouldn't say it's quite many years. It kind of stops before she goes into like her classic baby snooks that she does. But it goes through to her Follies and when she divorces Nick Arnstein.
Who was really, Nick was really the love of her life.
Oh, yeah.
In reality. And it's played by Christopher Kehoe, who's really wonderful, and we call him the tall drink of water, so yeah.
Well,
You do.
Well, Jeffrey, when you pick this show, I mean, this is an iconic show, and
Yeah.
a lot of people know it, which
Right.
is great. But one of the challenges I can imagine is that Fanny Brice was her own star,
Right.
yet people associate Fanny with Barbara Streisand's
Right,
portrayal,
right.
which is different.
Well, as the community theater in town, I think what we do best is we take a piece like this that has everything good going for it and we make it our own. We make sure that we don't follow a trend, or we don't make sure that, we pay homage, because as Vera and I were talking about, there are certain things that people want to see. They want to see that bride number. They want to see, that laugh line. They get the humor in the piece. But really what we have to do is go back to Fanny and who she was and her story, and try to tell her story honestly and sincerely and in our unique way. And I think we do that very successfully.
So, of course, we all hear the "hello, gorgeous," all those line readings that you mentioned. How do you approach the role, Vera, without trying to copy Barbara Streisand, but still make it your own?
I mean, I think it's exactly how you just said. I have to look at the script and think of how I can say things as honestly as possible. And if I'm not being genuine with it, that's going to translate to the audience. So I just pretty much have to be true to myself. I mean, Barbara did that. She wasn't trying to, I'm Fanny Brice. She's like, I'm going to do this my way, and I guess I'm just doing the same thing. I'm going to do it the Vera way.
Well, we want to hear the Vera way.
We do want to hear the Vera way.
Vera is going to go get ready and sing, give us a little preview. So as she goes to get ready, Jeffrey, set up the song that we're about to hear.
Well, we're going to hear People, which again is an iconic song that most people are afraid of, but within the context of the story, this is literally when she's discovered. This is somebody that's always felt she's been the outsider, always the underdog, and now she has found somebody that she understands and that understands her. She has found her people.
Well, from Funny Girl, which will be at the Players Center through April 15th, we have Vera Samuels singing People. Take it away.
People who need people are the luckiest people in the world. We're children meeting other children. Acting more like children than children.
And Funny Girl is at the Players Center through April 15th. For tickets and more information, you can go to their website, theplayers.org. Coming up next, a local entrepreneur launches her own coffee brand.
I heard about the Detoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Detoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Detoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
Don't allow your weight to threaten your health or control your future. Excess weight or obesity can cause emotional and physical health risks. But you can take control. The Your Weight Matters campaign offers free resources and tips to help you measure and understand your weight. Take the Your Weight Matters Challenge. The free toolkit prepares you to speak with a healthcare provider about your weight. Your weight does matter. Take the challenge and take control today.
We answered the call of duty and left our homes to serve in far-off lands. Now, we answer another call, this time at home, in our own communities, to respond in times of chaos, to use our strength, our skills, and our experiences to bring hope amid devastation and destruction. Together, as a team of brothers and sisters, we're continuing our mission to make this country a little stronger and a little better each day. We are Team Rubicon.
Invest in Kids is a $7.5 million project to build a new Boys and Girls Club in South Manatee County. I'm Caleb Grimes, and I was a club kid. It's where I learned important life lessons, leadership, integrity, responsibility, and baseball. Thousands of kids attend the Boys and Girls Clubs, and after years of use, their club is slowly falling apart. Help us invest in kids. Make your donation today.
Once you get atrial fibrillation, you need to have a very close relationship with your primary doctor. Prevention is the whole ball game here, because once you have a stroke, you can't undo it. A year without stroke, it's a year that you can enjoy doing the things that you've worked all your life to finally get to do. You took care of yourself. You did what is necessary for you to be around one more year. And then next year, we'll celebrate one more year without a stroke.
We take our coffee very seriously here on Suncoast View. In fact, Linda literally won't sit down and do a show without her cup in front of her. So we are thrilled to meet Suncoast entrepreneur Ellie Eckert, who has launched her own coffee line. Welcome, Ellie.
Thank you. It's so great to be here.
Well, we always like to own someone in our area, and you were born and bred in St. Pete. What made you get into the coffee business?
Well, I actually moved to New York about 7 years ago and found my love for coffee there and all of the amazing artisanal coffee shops on the Lower East Side. And I remember sitting in one of the coffee shops thinking, you know, at 19 years old, okay, if one day I could own a space like this and, you know, have this amazing experience, that would be the dream.
Wow. Oh, so that kind of launched you in. Now, I know a lot goes into every single bag of coffee. How did you go about sourcing and roasting and doing it here on the Suncoast?
Yes, well, it started with a lot of Googling. I mean, if there was a dummy's guide to starting a coffee roasting company, I probably would have bought it, but there isn't. I checked.
Maybe you should work on one.
I know, that's my next step.
Yes, perfect.
So, you know, it all started with finding the perfect partner to source the beans from originally, and, you know, it's hard to find their contact information, so again, that took months to find the farm. I knew who I wanted to source from. Bella Vista in Guatemala has an amazing reputation in coffee and being innovative and supporting their farmers, and I couldn't think of a better partner. So I found the contact, I was invited down to the farm, and we went there to source.
And the farm in Guatemala?
In Guatemala, it was in Antigua.
Okay, so you took the trip for a taste test.
Yes, so I went down to source to meet the farm owners, the team there at Bella Vista, and it was an amazing experience. For 5 days in Guatemala, we were at the farm for maybe 3 of them, and the first day was just getting to know each other, deciding if it was even a great partnership, and the farm owner decided to take a chance, and he said, you know, you never know who will be the next Stumptown. And for those who know, Stumptown is an amazing West Coast coffee brand, so those are the guiding words for written coffee.
So what do you do at that point? I mean, you knew you liked the farm, you had the coffee elsewhere. What do you do if you get down to that point and working with the beans just isn't, it doesn't do it for you, you know, you have to look at a different bean?
Yeah, so when we were in Guatemala, we cupped 11 different lots of coffee, so basically 11 different batches to choose from, essentially.
And cupping is tasting?
Cupping is tasting, smelling, similar to wine.
It's one of the pictures. They showed what you were doing, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's the one on the screen
right
now.
Yes.
This is where we were deciding out of the 11 different lots what would be chapter 1.
Wow.
And I'm here with the Guatemalan champion of coffee.
So chapter 1. So we're going to get to that in a second. But all right, so you choose the bean, and then what's the next step in the process? Roasting?
So we choose the beans, import them back into the U.S., and I work with an amazing roaster named Joel. That's a great story too. I interviewed him in New York for a website I have, and he happened to move back to St. Pete at the same time. So it just worked out perfectly. We'll bring the beans back into the U.S. We'll sample roast it 3 different ways to decide which has the best roast profile, which is getting the most flavor out of the bean. And then we go from there, and that's when we start roasting more of the batches.
And it's roasted right in St. Pete, right over the bridge from us.
Every Monday in St. Pete.
Oh, that's great. We're happy that you chose to bring the business back to Florida. Now, you talked about chapters, so explain, there's something beyond just the coffee.
Yes. My background is actually in editorial. When I moved to New York, that was for school to study journalism. So when I moved there, I knew that I wanted to start my own website, and that kind of happened because I didn't really want to write too much about business or politics. So coffee it is.
Right, really.
So I started this website, and when I was working on the brand on Written Coffee, I knew I wanted to combine my background in editorial and coffee. So for me, it meant treating the coffee bags as an issue of my favorite magazine. So kind of really curating the beans, making sure we source from the right partners, curating all the stories behind the scenes before it ever hits shelves.
So each bag, when you release a bag, is a chapter in the story.
Right, so each bag is a different chapter. So chapter 1 is all about kind of setting the scene for what you're going to find with Written Coffee. So kind of setting the mood for life over coffee and celebrating those special moments.
That's really unique.
Thank you.
And a nice way to bring your mission to the actual product.
Yes.
All right, so you brought us some, and we're very grateful. I know Linda's going to be jealous. So we'll do a little tasting or some cupping. So tell us about what we're tasting with this one.
So chapter 1, the feedback I've gotten, which I love, is that it's very smooth, it's easy drinking, you don't need a lot in it, and that's what I love. That's what I wanted to put out there, something that you don't need a ton of milk and sugar, you can just enjoy it on your morning.
It is. It's delicious, and I don't often drink black coffee, but I would with this. This is great.
Oh,
so will the next chapter be a different roast or a different bean?
I'm glad you asked. So chapter 2 comes out next month. It's all it's from a woman-owned farm, and it supports women farmers and women producers, women in coffee. So we've partnered with the International Women's Coffee Alliance to give back 10% of every purchase to support women farmers and women in coffee, help build communities.
How unique.
Yes.
It really,
Really excited for this
everything
one.
that comes out of your mouth is so unique and interesting. I mean, what a really genuine love of coffee.
And inspiring too, that you took something that you liked and actually made a whole career leap, and not an easy one either.
No.
For someone who maybe has a side hobby that they would love to turn into something, and especially bring it back home or keep it home, what would be the best advice you might give to them?
Oh my gosh, follow your curiosity. Whatever it is that you're curious about, look into it more, take classes, read books about it, ask questions. That's what I did early on, is ask as many questions as I could, just so I could learn more about it.
Well, we are so glad that you did. You can visit Written Coffee in St. Petersburg. I'm going to visit for a little refill. Or you can find them online, writtencoffee.com. You want to start with chapter 1 so you'll be ready when chapter 2 comes out. All right, thank you, Ellie. And we'll be right back.
Get breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC7 News app.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help. With Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
This is an ABC7 News Update.
Good afternoon, I'm Jacqueline Matter. Here's what we're working on for 5 o'clock. Venice residents are becoming frustrated with the growing homeless population in some areas. What the city is doing to try and fix that problem. Plus an update on a temporary sand renourishment project on Lido Key Beach. Now let's get a check on our first alert weather forecast with Bob.
Thanks, Jacqueline. A cold front is approaching. It's not going to be all that much in terms of bringing us colder air, but a chance for a few isolated showers. This is the prefrontal trough out ahead of the actual cold front, which is still back here. Noticeable effect mainly to our north in terms of temperatures, but we won't drop all that much. Maybe some slightly drier air on the way. The rain chances aren't all that great either. Only at about 20% for a passing shower late tonight. You can see that frontal activity really starting to break up as it approaches the coast. Should be here late tonight, say after 9, 10 o'clock. We'll have more on this front and another one expected over the weekend coming up at 5.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app now.
really hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 3 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317. Go online or visit a Target store today.
So many great things to do here on the Suncoast, and taking care of a yard and a house are not always at the top of our list. In today's Suncoast for Sale, Realtor Andrew Haddad brings us maintenance-free homes that are on the market right now. But first, Andrew, I just got back from vacation, and I just got the bad news.
Don't blame me, I didn't do it.
Interest rates went up.
You know, it's always good to pay close attention to the mortgage interest rates. I mean, because they're always changing incrementally every single day. Yet there's these rate hikes that the Federal Reserve gives us. So, I mean, we study, the local economists are predicting 3 more interest rate hikes through the course of 2018.
How does this impact what you do with the home sales?
Absolutely. So it's a really big impact. So to give you an example, a hike of just 0.5% in interest rate will affect either the buyer's purchasing power or your mortgage payment. So for example, average $300,000 house on a mortgage payment, that could be a little over $100 extra per month.
Which is a lot.
Which is a lot. Yep, exactly that. And then as far as purchasing power, let's say the buyers were qualified up to $300,000 and they can't, their budget is $1,500 a month. Now they have to start looking in the $285,000 range.
Which
so
takes away
$15,000. So it's a big deal for both buyers and sellers from an urgency standpoint. Again, it's always fluctuating, yet the economy's good. And what are they going to do? They're going to raise the interest rates to balance everything
And
out.
don't wait, because they're going up again.
That's right.
Let's buy now. Okay, maintenance free. I like the idea of that.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump right in, because I got some really great ones today.
Okay.
All right. We are first going to start in Hidden Bay at Lake Vista. Now, this is in Osprey, which I love Osprey. You're going to see Casey Key in the background over there. $250,000. Now, not only maintenance free, look at this, $250,000. 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, plus a den, almost 1,500 square foot, completely maintenance free. You're looking out over a beautiful lake. We have sunsets in the background. Beautiful open floor plan though, nice and simple with the 2 bedrooms. We also have a flex room in the front that can be used as a craft room or a hobby room. What I'm mostly excited though about this condo is the community itself. It's a gated community, resort style living. We have heated pool, spa, they have tennis, pickleball, kayaks. Again, you're right on the water, and you're really close to Blackburn Point, also Casey Key Marina. So for the boating enthusiasts, they can keep their boat right there. And I mean, again, Sarasota, Osprey, $250,000 for a condo like that.
And if
on the
anything
water,
happens, you don't have to fix it.
That's
It's not your problem.
I agree, 100%.
Oh, I love that. Now this is cute. Look at that.
So I wanted to bring this. Maintenance free is not just, just yard work and all that kind of stuff. This is the house itself. And I found this house, again, right in the heart of Sarasota. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at our price point, under $300,000. You're looking at a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, never lived in, just completed in 2017. The construction is what excited me about this property. Metal roof, 175-mile-an-hour hurricane windows, also our spray foam insulation, the insulation, the roof from the construction of this, tankless water heater, spray foam insulation. I mean, this thing is virtually maintenance free.
Oh, I love that in a
based
place.
on the construction.
It's adorable.
It is.
3-bedroom, great location in Sarasota.
Everything you need.
Brand new. I mean,
Yeah, I
granite,
love it.
everything. Great price point. I'm just blown away by these price points.
This is amazing. So what about condo fees if you're looking at condos?
Absolutely. I can touch base on that right now.
No, let's do this house.
That's one. Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
Let's do one more.
I got one more for you. Look at this. Now this is at just over $300,000. This is Sunrise Cove. on the all-famous Siesta Key.
Wow.
Again, this is just a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, granite countertops, amazing views, right on the bay. This is turnkey furnished. Again, this is highly amenitized, maintenance-free, yet 1-bedroom, 1-bath in this community. This condo brings $3,000 a month in income.
Wow.
You asked earlier about the condo fees.
Yeah.
The condo fees for this community being on the water are $51 per month. This
Very
is a
good.
little cash cow. This could
Yeah.
be a second home.
Yeah.
This could
Yeah.
be an amazing rental. You could buy this and literally rent it out immediately. There's no waiting period. You can also keep your boat there.
Oh, and then
Sunrise
you can
Cove.
stay there yourself, because
Or
I
stay
would
there
really
yourself.
love to live in a
That's
place
right.
like that. That
I
is
totally agree.
so
I agree.
neat.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, are we ready for the dream house?
Well, let's talk condo fees.
Yeah, sure.
So you mentioned that those, those were in the 400s at
Mhm.
Siesta Key. Is there an average what we can expect to pay in a maintenance-free situation?
You know, on Siesta Key, they're always going to be higher.
Yeah.
You know, you're
Uh-huh.
factoring in insurance costs for the community,
right.
flood insurance, wind mitigation, all those
Zone
fees.
A.
$451, yeah, Zone A.
Zone A.
$451 is actually on the lower side of what I've
Okay.
seen on Siesta Key. They can, I mean, some communities can go up to $1,000
So
a
you're
month.
paying
Yeah.
for location, obviously.
You're paying
and
for
protection.
location.
What about inland?
Inland, with the fees are, you know what, I'd say they hover probably, they're different from community to community.
Right.
$300, I would say,
Okay.
$300 to
Yeah.
$350
So some of the
inland.
budget.
It's going to depend on whether the community's gated. The amenities are a really big deal as well. Also, what's included? We're looking
Yeah.
at maintenance. Are the lawns, are the shrubs, are the
Right.
irrigation, are all those things included into the fees? You got to factor that in as
Yeah,
well.
because I pay almost $300 for lawns.
What
so
if
totally.
what if it's a dream home?
I've
Speaking
been
If it's a dream home.
It's a dream home, we don't worry about it.
Yeah, well, you're gonna love this one. The fees in this one, I believe, are just about $100 a month. This is in Inglewood. I absolutely love this property, Inglewood Isles. At right at $1 million, you walk in, stunning waterfront,
Lovely.
custom-built estate, 3 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 4,300 square feet. This is right on the water.
Gosh, that's pretty reasonable for $1
Very
million.
absolutely.
I mean, that's a lot of house.
Gourmet chef's kitchen. We have all professional appliances, full-length Roman shower, the clawfoot tubs, beautiful two-story living areas.
Oh,
Not only when you walk
lovely.
in, but in the living area, lagoon-style pool with California walk-in style pool there. Again, you're right on the water. Keep your boats, keep your kayaks. At $1 million for a dream home on the water,
Yeah.
I would take that
that's
every single day.
unbelievable.
Mhm.
Oh, awesome,
Absolutely.
Andrew.
You're very
Thank you
welcome.
so much. You give us something to think about.
I love it.
And you can find out more because he's got lots more houses to show you. SellingTheSuncoast.com is where you can see pictures and find more information. Next, Bradenton Business is here, and they're going to tell us about a big award they won.
I heard about the Detoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Detoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Dear parents, it's time for a pop quiz. What's the best kind of play for kids? Play that makes us think? Or helps us pretend? Or teaches us rules? Or to be creative? Actually, every kind of play is important because different kinds of play give us different kinds of skills. Help us mix up the ways we play. Okay, class dismissed. Now go play.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Great news. The Makers Market and Workshops in Bradenton has won the SCORE American Small Business Championship Award. It's such a great place you can go and craft. They provide the supplies, the tools, and how to do it all. They're going to be back on the show coming up this month. We're excited to talk again to Jennifer Bate and Jennifer Gunter, and congratulations to Makers Market. Now we're headed to the kitchen with Chef Judy and grilled cheese.
Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
Rugs as Art. You know the name, you know the building, but do you know what's inside? Yes, Rugs as Art is Florida's #1 area rug superstore, but there is so much more. Amazing furniture, accessories, and art. All this and more. Come see for yourself. You'll love our personal touch and be pleasantly surprised by our affordable prices. Rugs as Art and more. There is so much more to explore.
This is an ABC7 News Update.
Hello, I'm Scott Dennis. Here's what's coming up at the top of the hour. The Sarasota County Fire Chief banning all recreational burning. How you can prevent fires from happening around your home during these very dry conditions. Taking a look at first alert traffic right now, we're seeing a crash on the northbound lanes of US 41 in Sarasota. This is right near Myrtle Avenue, just south of University Parkway. Let's get a check now on our weather again with Bob.
Scott, dry air is going to settle in, too, it looks like, throughout the day on Thursday. As some cooler air moves into North Florida, we won't see the cooler air, but some drier air certainly behind this frontal boundary, which is still well to the north of us. This is a little prefrontal trough, which is weakening as it approaches our coast, so we're not anticipating much rainfall from it at all. Look at it. Showers are, for the most part, gone right now. A few showers about 30 miles offshore of Pinellas County. They're pushing in our direction, maybe an increase in clouds after 9 tonight. Details on a stronger front headed our way at 5. See you then.
Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC7, weekdays starting at 5.
You know, fortunately, this was my first job out of college, so I was able to come back home and work in my hometown. I wore 2 hats. I was sports director and I was a news anchor. I did that for a few years and then decided to go full-time into news. Well, I love our team here at ABC7. We have a great mix, and it really is a great mix of personalities, of experience that meshes really well into a really strong team. I'm Scott Dennis, and I'm here for you.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Want the latest weather and traffic conditions wherever you go? Introducing ABC7's revolutionary new First Alert weather app. With our state-of-the-art new weather app, you get up-to-the-minute weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, real-time traffic maps, and weather video from ABC7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download onto all your devices today. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky.
My name is Blake. I received a heart transplant when I was 2 weeks old. I play defense for the Red Hot Tornadoes. Sometimes my heart starts pounding like faster and faster as I go. I know I have someone else's heart inside me. It makes me feel happy because someone was generous enough to give me a second chance to live.
This gift of life was made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Welcome back. We are here with Chef Judy and her favorite grilled cheese sandwiches. We can't wait. Let's get started.
What a holiday.
Yes.
Who doesn't love this, right? So first we have to go over to Metro Diner because that's just known for its comfort food, and you can get it a lot more available now because there's a new one in Lockwood Ridge, and they just opened in Venice.
Oh, nice.
So the Venice folks, this is not a place you go to diet. Let's just establish
I could
over
tell.
here. So there's a three cheese sandwich of baked bread, and they bake their own specifically for Metro Diner with cheddar, provolone, and Swiss. Then they have the same type of sandwich with deli ham and tomatoes. Now, I just think a grilled cheese and tomato is the bomb.
Me too.
And then look at this. A Holy Davili grilled cheese burger, and so it's basically 2 grilled cheeses with a burger in the middle.
Oh my goodness.
So I know, because he always got to, he
you
has
get that
his
in your
dream
mouth?
house. I have my dream grilled
That's
cheese,
amazing.
okay?
That's fantastic.
So I call that the Scalzi grilled cheese. Now, Libby's, I love their comfort food over there. They have a Gouda American cheddar with homemade bacon jam.
Oh, I love that.
I know.
Wow.
So, the bacon jam is just phenomenal. Linda,
never
you
heard
should
of that.
reach right in and have some. We'll come back to what I'm doing over in the pan right now.
I want to reach
But
right in
here's,
here.
please do. And
Okay.
go ahead and you can scrape off the cheese and the brisket.
No,
This is our low carb lady.
Going in for the
This
brisket.
is Off the Wagon Brewery in Venice. I just love how you can go to a local brewery and get some really deliciousness, right?
It needs to be au jus.
Isn't au jus?
It's been au jus.
It's been au jus. Now you know it's going to be amazing.
This is wonderful.
I will. I'm going to buy you a jar of bacon jam because I swear I put it on
I love
everything.
that some of these have meat in them as well, so if you want something a little more
that's
substantial.
it, and it works together. If the cheese that you pick is important, it works together. Now let's go down to the Bijou Cafe. I did not know till I put this on Facebook, and Molly Schechter, I love you because she gave the biggest shout out for these grilled cheeses. They said it's their #1 lunch item that they sell.
Really?
Gruyere cheese, that nutty French cheese. Ready for this with sauteed wild mushrooms.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I know.
It
Okay.
doesn't count if you split it.
So it doesn't count at all if you split it. So what am I doing over here in this pan? I'm doing the guiltless fried cheese. So yes, we're frying cheese, but we're not frying them in any oil or butter because it has its natural oil. So I have Irish cheddar. I always want a nice Kerrygold. I have Reggiano, Parmigiano Reggiano. You want to go for the really aged, the high quality. It's worth spending the extra money.
Okay.
And I have Havarti. And I have to tell you that back in the day, there used to be this wonderful cheese stand in Boston at Faneuil Hall, and they sold grilled French bread with melted Havarti on top of it. And I'd been known to take down 3 of them because they had Havarti with dill. So all you're going to do is you're literally going to take your combination of cheeses, and then what I do is I just start curving the edges. I grew up in Manchester, Connecticut, which is known, famous, world famous now, they've been written about all over, for the Shady Glen cheeseburger, which is basically a frozen hamburger patty that's cooked on the grill, and they lay cheese around on the grill so the fat from the hamburger cooks the cheese and then it curls up.
Oh my goodness.
So look at over here. We've taken 3 different layers of cheese with different yellow and red tomatoes, and that is my guiltless grill cheese for the day,
So
right?
This non-stick skillet, all you're doing is putting in the cheese.
I'm literally just putting the cheese, one batch, wipe it out with a paper towel to remove the cheese's natural fat so it can crisp up.
And the
it
presentation.
makes great.
Your presentation's fabulous.
Well, there, right? I mean, and while it's warm, just curl it up. Let it cool down just a little bit, curl it up.
Great
Boom.
idea. All right, so you can have it with the bread, you can have it without the bread, but you got to have grilled cheese for April, which is Grilled Cheese Month. And Judy has picked her favorites and picked very well.
Thank you.
All right, a lot of fun, lots of great cheese. Enjoying, Linda?
Oh, it's wonderful. Look at that. Yay!
We're double fisted and we're proud of it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take some time and enjoy the Suncoast view.